Don't worry, background, taking a serve safe test while I'm doing this.
A correctly stocked hand washing sink is going to need hot and cold running water, soap, single-use paper towels or a hand dryer, and a garbage container for the used paper towels. Simple, right? If these items aren't stocked, make sure to tell your manager. Some people seem to think that hand washing sinks can be used for other needs. You know who I'm talking about. But to keep sinks safe and hygienic, they should only be used for actual hand washing. Use them to prep food or wash dishes in them. And always make sure these sinks are easy to access. Never block them or stack them with food, equipment, or supplies.
Ready to test yourself? The items that must be included at a hand washing sink.
Move list. Cross button.
Hold on, y'all.
Up and down. Navigate.
Yes to the garbage can, single-use paper towel dispenser, and soap. Hand lotion and hand antiseptic are nice, but not required.
Down directional button. Right directional button.
Good
down
news.
Directional button.
You're done
Cross
with
button.
hand washing.
Damage.
Did you learn a thing or two?
Maybe.
Yeah, surprised you come big bullshit on me. You're still not quite through with your hands, though. I've got an important question. Is it okay to handle food with your bare hands?
Yes.
No? It was actually kind of a trick question. You see, there are certain kinds of foods that should never be handled with bare hands. Any idea which kinds of foods can't be handled with bare hands? I would have guessed raw meat too, but it turns out you can handle it with your bare hands as long as you wash them before and afterward. The correct answer is actually the sandwich. Here's why.
Cross button confirm.
Ready-to-eat food, like a sandwich, will usually be eaten without any further preparation, washing, or cooking. That makes ready-to-eat food incredibly risky, because touching these items with bare hands can transfer pathogens. Ready-to-eat food, like a sandwich, will usually be eaten without any further preparation, washing, or cooking. That makes ready-to-eat food incredibly risky, because touching these items with bare hands can transfer pathogens from your hands to the food and then right into the mouths of the people eating them. In short, do not touch ready-to-eat food with bare hands. That includes things like deli meat, sandwiches, salads, and all cooked food. Of course, there are always exceptions, so ask your manager. So how do you handle ready-to-eat food without contaminating it?
Move list. Cross button confirm. Up and down. Navigate.
You're right. Deli sheets, tongs, and gloves are also good choices. There are a few things to note about wearing food handling gloves. First off, make sure they're made for single use. While it may seem like a good way to save money, food handling gloves should never be washed or rinsed and then reused. And always remember to wash your hands before putting on gloves when starting a new task. Secondly, a pair of gloves should fit like, well, a pair of gloves. They shouldn't be too tight or too loose. And while gloves may not be easy to put on, you shouldn't blow with them or roll them up, even if it would make it easy. Okay, so now you know how to put gloves on. Now, here's a question for you. Do you know when to change your gloves? Let's say a prep cook has been wearing gloves to handle raw chicken, and then eats the prep salad. Should she change her gloves? That's right. You always want to change gloves after handling raw meat, seafood, or poultry, and before handling ready-to-eat food, like the salad. There are other times when gloves should be changed. Let's take a look. Gloves should be changed as soon as they become dirty or torn, before you begin another one. Another situation where you want to change your gloves is when you're prepping food for a guest with a food allergy. And you'll also want to do it anytime you're interrupted by something like a phone call. Next, on our hand care checklist, which does end eventually, I swear, is nail care. That's right, taking care of your nails can make food prep safer. Check out these questions for best practices. Is it okay to handle food if you have long fingernails? Sorry, but it's not, which sucks. Is it okay to handle food if you have long fingernails? You're right, but do you know why? It's hard to keep long fingernails clean.
Ew.
So food handlers should keep their nails short and clean. Nails should also be filed because ragged fingernails are hard to clean, may hold pathogens, and can break off into food, which is gross. How about nail polish? Can you wear it when handling food? Yep, you're right. Here's why. If you wear nail polish while handling food, it can hide dirt under your nails or flake off into the food. Nasty.
Ew.
The same goes for false fingernails. They're hard to keep clean, which makes them a risk. That being said, some local regulatory authorities do allow polished or false nails if single-use gloves are worn. Check with your manager if it's something that's important to you. And let's talk a little about infected wounds. Sorry, I just finished. Do you know the correct way to cover one?
Move list. Cross button confirm. Up and down. Navigate.
That's partly correct. There's a little more to it. If your wound is infected, pus, which may contain nasty bacteria. Inside of the food, you have to cover it correctly. For hand, finger, and wrist wounds, that means first using a bandage or finger cot that will prevent fluid from leaking out. Then, covering the whole thing with a single-use glove.
Cross button
Now,
confirm.
arm wounds must be covered completely with a bandage that will prevent fluid from leaking out, while wounds on other parts of the body must be covered with a dry, durable, tight-fitting bandage. Wearing dirty clothes or neglecting to shower before you go into work probably isn't going to go over well with customers or your boss. But there are real food safety concerns related to your appearance as well. What should you do?
Bathe daily. Dirty hair, skin, and clothing may carry pathogens that cause foodborne illness. Always wear a clean hat or other hair covering when you're prepping food or working in prep areas, and when you're working in areas that are used to clean utensils and equipment. And if you have facial hair, doesn't matter if it's a neat goatee or a wild mountain man beard, you should also wear a beard restraint. Sure, it may not be the hippest fashion accessory, but it's better than getting someone sick. When you go into work, make sure you're wearing clean clothes. That means every part of your uniform. If dirty clothing is stored at work, it must be kept away from food and prep areas. This includes dirty aprons, chef coats, and other parts of your uniform. Where should they go? Ask your manager. And while you're at it, ask about street clothes and other personal belongings, because they need to be stored away from food and prep areas too. Finally, always remove aprons and store them correctly when leaving prep areas. For example, wearing your apron while using the restroom or taking out garbage is a big no-no. Wear jewelry on your hands or arms? Not while prepping food, you don't. Before you even get to the prep area, take it off and store it safely. Why? You can probably guess by now, jewelry can contain bacteria and other pathogens. Beyond that, you don't want to lose something valuable or meaningful because it falls off into a random customer's food. And more importantly, you don't want to cause your customer to choke. So, when handling food, never wear bracelets, watches, medical bracelets, or rings, except for a plain band. Your company may also ask you to remove other jewelry. Though, servers can wear jewelry if company policy allows it. Okay, I think we're done with work attire, which means quiz time. Take a look at these two people and click the one that's dressed correctly. Yep, it's all about the hat here. His customers won't have to worry about hair or pathogens in their food. Okay, how about these two? Which one is dressed correctly?
Fight.
Move list.
No problem here. The guy, however, forgot to take off his watch. Last one. Who's dressed correctly for a trip to the bathroom?
Cross button confirm. Up and down. Navigate.
Nice. She remembered to remove her apron before heading to the restroom.
Time to talk about what you have in your mouth. Eating, drinking, smoking, and chewing gum or tobacco can make food unsafe if you're not careful. How so?
It's probably not surprising to learn that saliva contains pathogens that can cause foodborne illness. I know, it's probably starting to seem like everything can spread foodborne illness. Eating, drinking, smoking, and chewing gum or tobacco can contaminate equipment and your hands with saliva. Then there's the simple fact that cigarette butts and other items can also get into food. Grossed out yet? Only eat, drink, smoke, and chew gum or tobacco in designated areas. Never do these things in prep areas, in areas used to clean utensils and equipment, or in service areas. Depending on where you live, some regulatory authorities may allow you to drink from a covered container while in prep and dishwashing areas. But it's always best to check first. Pop quiz time again. Don't worry, the end is in sight. Click the person below who is acting safely.
Cross button confirm. Up and down. Navigate.
Sorry. She might think she's just having a quick snack, but if her saliva contaminates her hands, that can get on the food and cause problems.
Should you work while you're sick? Depends on the symptoms, because you can potentially spread pathogens to food and equipment, and make your guests and coworkers sick.
She doesn't look good, does she? Click the photo to hear what symptoms she has, then decide whether or not she should tell a manager by clicking the yes or no buttons.
Move list. Cross button confirm. Up
I
and down.
vomited a couple of times this morning, but I feel a little better right now.
Finish him.
Yeah, she should definitely tell her manager, because vomiting can be a sign of foodborne illness. Should the manager know about whatever's happening here?
Continue. Cross button confirm.
I had diarrhea all day, but it seems to be getting better.
Even if it's better, diarrhea is another symptom of foodborne illness, and the manager needs to know. Whoa, what's going on with this person's eyes?
Move list.
Should the manager
Cross
know?
button confirm. Up and down.
When I look in the mirror, the whites of my eyes look kind of yellow.
Move list. Cross button confirm. Up and down. Navigate.
Yes, because yellowing of the eyes and skin is called jaundice. It's a symptom of foodborne illness, and it's a very big deal. Tell the manager. Does she need to talk to her manager?
I have a sore throat and fever. It started last night.
No question about it. Sore throat and fever at the same time should always be reported to a manager.
Ready to cheer? We're all done learning about personal hygiene. Yes, really. All that's left is to review what we've talked about so far. Then, you can do a little happy dance, if you so choose, and move on to the next section. We'll start by jumping back to hand washing. How long should you scrub with soap? That's right. When you wash your hands, you need to scrub them for 10 to 15 seconds to really get them clean. Let's talk about single-use gloves. When do food handlers need to wear them? You got it. Food handlers should always wear single-use gloves when touching ready-to-eat food. What's the correct way for food handlers to maintain their fingernails? Absolutely right. Short, unpolished nails are easier to keep clean, and that can help keep food safe. Which piece of jewelry can be worn on a food handler's hand or arm? A lot of people think that, but a medical bracelet can contain bacteria and other pathogens. Try again. Watches may seem harmless, but they're a complicated piece of machinery that can contain bacteria and other. Which piece of jewelry can be worn on a food handler's hand or arm? Bingo! A plain band ring is the only acceptable piece of jewelry that can be worn on the hands when handling food. When is it acceptable for food handlers to eat on the job?
Move list. Cross button confirm. Up and down. Navigate.
Ding ding ding! Correct. Eating only in designated areas can help keep your guests safe. Okay, we're almost done. Which symptom of illness do you need to tell your manager about? You guessed it. Vomiting can be a sign of foodborne illness, so food handlers should always tell managers.
Continue.
Two of the most important ways to prevent foodborne illness are to control time and temperature. Don't worry though, we're not talking about some sci-fi level of control here. You just need to control the temperature of the food you're handling and limit the amount of time that food remains at unsafe temperatures. This is called time and temperature control. Doesn't sound too hard, right? But if you fail to do it correctly, any bacteria on the food you're handling can grow to dangerous levels. So how do you prevent this? Well, you need to know which food items need time and temperature control to keep them safe. And you need to be aware of, with the Top Gun music, the temperature danger zone. Additionally, you should learn how to use a thermometer correctly and understand the requirements for receiving food and non-food items. You also need to know how to control the time and temperature of food during storage, how to transport and deliver food off-site correctly, and how to thaw, cook, hold, cool, and reheat food correctly. There's a lot of ground to cover, but that's why we have this handy-dandy training module. Let's start with the story that shows why controlling time and temperature is important.
After several people who had eaten at a summer festival got sick, a vendor came under investigation by local authorities. The victims all had similar symptoms, including vomiting, diarrhea, and stomach cramps. It was later determined by health officials that the victims got sick from Campylobacter jejuni, bacteria often associated with poultry. Health officials determined that the cause of the outbreak was barbecue chicken served in one of the concession stands. With the rush through the large crowd, those working the stand cooked a large batch of chicken at correct temperature.
What started as a simple attempt to speed up service ended up getting a lot of people. Never rush chicken.
There are specific types of food that can become unsafe if you don't control time and temperature. There's even a clever acronym: TCS food. TCS stands for Time and Temperature Control for Safety. Yes, technically there should be two T's, but TTCS just doesn't sound as good. Now, take a look at these two food items.
Continue.
Which one needs time and temperature control to keep it safe? You got it. Milk and other dairy products are TCS food items. How about this one? Yep, poultry is definitely a TCS food. If you don't maintain good time and temperature control, it can become unsafe. Here's another. Eggs or bread? Exactly. Shell eggs are a TCS food. Last picture for this section. Here's the TCS food. That's right. Plant-based food items do not need time and temperature control until they are cooked. This includes things like cooked rice, beans, and vegetables. Okay, so far, common TCS food items are milk and dairy products, poultry such as chicken, turkey, and stuff, shell eggs, and heat-treated plant-based food. All of these need time and temperature control to keep them safe. But there are plenty more TCS food items out there as well. Things like meat, including beef, pork, and lamb, and fish, and crustaceans. That's not all. Believe it or not, even potatoes are a TCS food, as is tofu and other soy protein and synthetic ingredients like textured soy protein, meat alternatives, sliced almonds, cut tomatoes, cut onions, also ingredients, as do sprouts and pretzels. And finally, untreated garlic and oil mixture or
Now that you know which types of food can be a problem, it's time to learn how to correctly control time and temperature. Earlier we mentioned the temperature danger zone. Are you familiar with the term? You are? Great. Then you probably know that it's the temperature range within which food becomes unsafe. Any idea what the temperature range is?
Continue. Cross button confirm.
You got it. This is the correct temperature range. Let's take a closer look at how it can affect the safety of food. 41 to 135 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 to 57 degrees Celsius, is known as the temperature danger zone because it's the temperature range in which pathogens grow well. Want to keep TCS food safe? Keep it out of the temperature danger zone. If food does end up in the temperature danger zone, you'll need to tell your manager and fix the problem. Some options include reheating food, cooking it, or even, unfortunately, throwing it out.
Pop quiz time. Drag the blue line to the bottom of the temperature danger zone. Yep, 41 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius is correct. Now drag the red line to the top of the temperature danger zone. Nice. The temperature danger zone is the temperature range between 41 and 135 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 and 57 degrees Celsius.
From the moment food arrives in the delivery, right up until the time it is served, thermometers must be used. And they must be used correctly. This may seem easy, but like everything else in this course, there are specific rules to follow. And keep in mind that every thermometer and business is different. So you should ask your manager how things are done where you work. So how do you get your thermometers ready to be used? You need to make sure they're washed, rinsed, sanitized, and air dried before and after using them. And hopefully this goes without saying, but you'll also want to keep their storage cases clean. You also have to adjust thermometers so they read temperatures correctly. This is called calibration. Okay, so now you know cleaning and calibrating those thermometers. Let's talk about actually using them. Stick the thermometer into the thickest part of the food, usually the center, and wait until the thermometer reading stays steady. Then write down the temperature. Always take another reading in a different spot to confirm. You ready to try a couple of activities?
Drag the thermometer to the correct spot on the meat to check the temperature. Nicely done. You always want to check the temperature of food in the thickest spot. Click the photo and listen to how this person is using thermometers. Are they being used correctly?
When I need to check the temperature of food, I just grab a thermometer from the drawer, stick it in, and check the reading.
You got it. He forgot to wash, rinse, sanitize, and air dry the thermometer before using it. Is this person using thermometers the right way?
Before checking the temperature of food, I wash, rinse, sanitize, and then air dry the thermometer. Then I stick it into the thinnest part of the food to get an accurate reading. Once the thermometer reading stays steady, I write down the temperature and take another reading in a different spot. And of course, I always clean and sanitize the thermometer when I'm done using it.
Yes. Got it. She did just about everything right, but she should have checked the temperature in the thickest part of the product. Okay, click to listen and confirm. Are they using thermometers correctly?
Before using a thermometer, I always wash, rinse, sanitize, and air dry it. Then I stick it into the thickest part of the product to get an accurate reading. Once the thermometer reading stays steady, I write down the temperature and take another reading in a different spot. And of course, I always clean and sanitize the thermometer when I'm done using it.
Yes! Finally, we found someone who did all the right things when checking the temperature of food.
Temperature control starts the moment food first arrives in your operation. When you receive food, you'll need to check the temperature, quality, and packaging to ensure it's safe. Poor food quality is a sign that food has been kept at unsafe temperatures. Also, ask your manager if there are any specific checks to make when receiving food in your operation. So how do you check those things?
Hold on, y'all. Okay. Let's get back to it. Excuse me.
Thanks. What are you looking for?
When receiving food, you always want to follow the manufacturer's directions. In general, hot TCS food should be received at 135 degrees Fahrenheit, 57 degrees Celsius, or higher, while cold TCS food should be received at 41 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius, or lower. In short, it should be outside of the temperature danger zone. When receiving frozen food, there are several things to look for. First, make sure it's frozen solid. If you see fluids, water stains, ice crystals, or frozen liquids on the product or package, reject it. Large ice crystals are a sign that the food has thawed and been refrozen, not warm. Also, you should always reject food that is past the by expiration date, that isn't the right color or is moldy, and that smells wrong or unpleasant. And if meat, fish, or poultry is slimy, sticky, or dry, don't accept it. These probably all seem pretty obvious, but when these types of things are overlooked, bad things happen.
What to see if you can pick the good from the bad? Close look at each photo. Yes, say, no.
Move list. Cross button confirm. Up and down. Navigate.
Good choice. Meat must be received at 41 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius, or lower. This meat could be bad. How about this one? Is it safe to receive? You're right. Always reject any food with ice crystals or frozen liquids on the product or package. Are these strawberries safe to receive?
Hell no.
Continue. Cross button
Correct.
confirm.
Strawberries aren't supposed to be white and fuzzy. That's mold, and moldy produce should always be rejected. How about this chicken? Is it safe to receive? Unfortunately, no. While the temperature is correct, sticky. Want to see if you can pick the good food from the bad? Take a close look at each photo and click yes if it's safe and no if it's not. Good choice. Meat must be received at 41 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius, or lower. This meat could be bad. How about this shrimp? Is it safe to receive? You're right. Always reject any food with ice crystals or frozen liquids on the product or packaging. Are these strawberries safe to receive? Strawberries aren't supposed to be white and fuzzy. That's mold. And moldy produce should always be rejected. How about this chicken? Is it safe to receive? Finish him. That's right. It doesn't matter if the temperature is correct. Sticky chicken should be rejected.
Daniel wins.
Now you know how to make sure food is at the
Continue.
right temperature when
Cross
you
button
receive it.
confirm.
And hopefully you won't be serving moldy strawberries anytime soon. But your job doesn't end there. To keep food safe, storage times and temperatures must also be carefully monitored. Question for you. At what temperature should cold TCS food be stored?
Move list. Cross button confirm. Up and down. Navigate.
Ooh.
Nope, not cold enough. Any pathogens on the food might grow at this temperature. Question for you. At what temperature should cold TCS food be stored? You got it. Nice work.
Basic.
Cold TCS food must be stored at 41 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius or lower. Remember, we're talking about the internal temperature of the food, not just the temperature of the cooler. And whatever you do, keep frozen food frozen. To help you prevent freezing at the correct temperature, there are a couple quick rules. Don't
about labeling and dating food. Cleanness is important, and not just if a coworker going to get lunch. Here's a question. Let's say you just prepared several over-the-pressure chicken salad. How about those snacks stored in the cooler before you come on sale?
Finish him.
Actually, we have about 7 days. Let's take a closer look. Food only stays good in storage for so long. To prevent foodborne illness, you need to know when food was stored and when it must be used.
Confirm.
Ready-to-eat TCS food prepared on-site, like our potato salad, can be stored for 7 days as long as it's kept at 41 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius, or lower. It must be marked if it will be held for longer than 24 hours. The mark must indicate when the food must be sold, eaten, or thrown out. Anytime you take food out of its original container, it has to be labeled. And that label must include the common name of the food. That goes for everything, whether it's 25 pounds of flour or 6 ounces of chicken salad. Here's another question for you. What should you do with food that's not marked with the day or date it should be sold, eaten, or thrown out? That's right. If the food isn't marked with the day or date by which it should be sold, eaten, or thrown out, it actually should be thrown out. And you should also do that if the food is incorrectly marked with a day or date that exceeds a safe time and temperature combination, like a date that goes beyond 7 storage days. There are some other labeling requirements you should know about, and they have to do with food delivered off-site. So now I've got another question for you. Does food need to be labeled if it will be delivered off-site? You guessed it. There are some rules to follow when delivering food off-site. Some operations prepare and deliver food for off-site service, such as catering. Off-site labels must include the name of the food, the use-by day-to-day time, and reasonable service instructions. How do you keep food out of the temperature danger zone during the conversation? It's simple. Transport it into insulated food-grade containers. And as always, check with your manager to see if you have to follow any special labeling requirements for packaged food and self-service areas. Better safe than sorry. Here's a question. What does FIFO stand for? Sounds like a dog name, am I right?
Move list. Cross button confirm. Up and down. Navigate.
That's right. FIFO stands for first in, first out. It's a way of rotating food in stores. Let's find out more about FIFO. Stored food must be rotated using 3-step process. First, check the use-by or expiration. Second, store food labels first in, first out. FIFO. This means storing items with the earliest use-by or expiration date in front of items later. Third, use the food stored in front first. FIFO. Makes sense, right? Probably at least try to do a version of this at home, though inevitably that old container of yogurt gets stuck in the back. Maybe that's just my problem. Okay, it's Q&A time again.
Is this food being stored safely? Not quite. This cottage cheese is at the wrong temperature.
Continue.
TCS food should be
Cross
stored
button
in...
confirm.
Is this food being stored safely? Good catch. This cottage cheese should be stored at 41 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius, or lower. Here's another. Is this food being stored safely? You're right. Nothing in here is safe because this reach-in cooler is way too overloaded. Is this food being stored safely?
Fight.
You got it. The food is labeled, but there's no date showing that it can be sold, eaten, or thrown out. Let's say today's date is March 22nd. Is this food being stored safely?
list. Cross button confirm. Up and down. Navigate.
Not according to the label. It should have been used by March 21st. How? Is this food being stored safely?
Move list. Cross button confirm. Up and down.
Good catch. This cottage cheese should be stored at 41 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius, or lower. Here's another. Is this food being stored safely? You're right. Nothing in here is safe because this region cooler is way too overloaded. Is this food being stored safely? You caught it. The food is labeled, but there's no date showing when it should be sold, eaten, or thrown out.
Continue. Cross button confirm.
Let's say today's date is March 22nd. Is this food being stored safely? That's right. It shouldn't be used anymore because it's one day past its use-by date. How about this off-site food? You called it. TCS food for off-site service should be in an insulated container, not just a cardboard box. Want to play a game? Drag these cans into their correct FIFO, first in, first out order. That's it. Nice organizational skills.
Ready to learn the correct thawing technique? Of course you are. Who isn't? And that's good because TCS food also needs to be kept out of the temperature danger zone when thawing and prepping it. Okay, let's talk turkey. As in, what's the best way to thaw a frozen turkey? Ding, ding, ding. You got it.
Alright, y'all.
Thawing
I'm
the
gonna make a
turkey in
run
cooler
quick.
will keep it
I'll be back
safely
in a
out
little
of the
bit.
temperature
Pause it for
danger
this. I got
zone.
to clean up, get
Let's
ready
find
for
out some
work.
other ways to thaw food.
Catch y'all later. Be safe. Watch the soak of the
Your
night.
mission,
It's gonna be dope.
and you better accept it, is to keep TCS food out of the temperature danger zone when thawing.
Game paused.
And that means never thawing TCS food at room
Game
temperature.
paused.
You're just asking for trouble. In fact,